Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Fire Up Your Heart, children of God, and that's you, and that's you, that's me, and it's, well, hippos are a bowl of sunshine. We know that, right? Okay, so, just a update for my stalkers and stuff. Uh, the last false PPO was put through on me last summer. We thought if we left the second PPO, the other one was from the other group that was trying to kill us at the other neighborhood, and the neighbor kept telling me she was going to kill me. She chased the truck down once, and then they had candy put in the PPO saying that I said I was going to kill people. But the best thing about that particular PPO is they were still vandalizing the house and stuff. But Dave would just do it from his yard because the houses were like barely 10 feet apart. And so I could get some of those videos, like when he was chucking sticks and stuff at the siding, or unfortunately I never got the footage of him having the foundation around the garage busted on spots that I had mended those. Anyhow, a number of incidences. We have the video of the men tampering with my husband's truck, and also involved with the federal postal worker, who was actually one of my old neighbors. My father had sold them a lot of land, but I don't see where that would have any bearing. It's just haters, a lot of them. And he didn't even, this kid that worked for the post, he was trying to get in the Freemason, pretty close to my age. He hated his father, so I don't know if there would be any bearing on, it's hard to know with this type of town. It's just that technically, if you believe that there's something seriously wrong, and there is with this place, and there always has been, especially in regards to women and children and ethnics, they can bring in all the dope shops and stuff they want. This town is sick, and it's still run by the wrong people, and it's generational. So let's just get that out in the open. Michigan's government is in a serious mess. So actually, some days I'm just like, oh God. Okay, so my glasses kind of work, but I'm not going to get into why I don't have proper glasses right now. And this is bad lighting, so I'm going to do the best I can. The Messiah teaches. I did the testimony yesterday. I will continue on that. So the incident where the second one, we did send in a rebuttal to cancel the PPO. I stated all the codes that had been violated. There was no response from Judge Arnold's office. He has now skipped out of 2 dates of court. It's all a game. And it's rude. And I actually have 2 other testimonies of other women. The one woman, she may or may not want to do an actual interview, that I would be my first interview with someone about the court system and police here. And this woman has pre-existing health concerns, and also has a medical alert guide dog. And when I get a chance to tell her story, or if she would prefer I just tell her story without names and tell you the loops that she went through. Another woman I actually became friends with some years back. I mean, I don't know, can you say you're friends with someone that works where you just go get stuff? I think so, because I would hang back if there was no customers, and we would chit chat, and she would share what she was going through. This was prior to the shutdown, and or the shutdowns, and I will share her story, because honestly, I'm not sure if she's okay or if she ended up passing away. Her situation was really bizarro, and you figure I'm not like Miss Social Butterfly anymore. I never really was. I like to go to social settings. This is always how I've been. And then I was probably the one that was awkwardly leaving after like 2 hours or so. Some places I might want to stay longer. When I was younger, if there was just a handful of people to hang out with, but more so than anything, if I was going to go dance, that was the objective. So if I was in there, I would dance for 2 hours and leave if there was a lot of crowds. Never been one to want to be in the middle of a crowd. I got trained to perform in front of crowds in roller skating competitions, but it really wasn't my natural inclination. It just really wasn't. I did like performing in music and things like that, but in the sense of this being in the public eye, and it was really forced on me as a young one, and it really was it was extremely damaging. So outside of that is so I have these two women's testimonies. I have more than that, but I would only want to share those because it was a one-on-one conversation. It wasn't through someone else, and this was their experience with the police. Severe harassment, be it was by a neighbor. Well, normally the two stories are about a neighbor. Well, actually, it's about a neighbor, and the other story is about a contractor. So, for some reason, Michigan, it's been going on for a super long time with that is, and I'm sure everywhere, but you've got to really watch who you hire. And technically, unfortunately, if you're kind of on the poo list, you got to make sure probably even who the contractor is who's going to work on your house or something, and who they know. It's unfortunate, but our last experience, lo and behold, they had known one of the neighbors at the last place. They left the piping off the washer. We ran the washer. At that time, my son and husband were both on a midnight shift, and so they were just going to get ready to go to bed after we have this plumbing guy come, and it ended up flooding part of the basement, and then the neighbors all stood out and laughed and mocked while we had to haul and throw out a bunch of items. Most of the damage was maybe things that weren't that important, but they needed to get ready for bed, and then when we called the contractor, this is typical. So if they're involved with the asses, the sickos, and that's just how this town is. It's always been this way. So most people have to have someone they really know that they can trust to work on their home or their car. The Messiah teaches, and Jesus answered them. This is chapter 12 at the end, and I want to get into this because some famous people are discussing, journalists. One did. Matt Walsh. My husband got a real kick out of it. Or he didn't see this one. We watched the one about the Panama with Carter. And I never had the heart to say that Carter was just kind of sleeping. I was so little. I just thought he was a really nice guy, and being in a little kid's mind, I was like, something's wrong here. I don't think this guy is capable. And as a little girl, I don't know. It's just what I picked up on. Would it have been, at my age, the word capable? No, he made me uneasy because I was like, he seems like a really nice guy. The peanut farmer thing, I didn't know he was actually in the military, but then hearing Matt Walsh say about the Panama, I vaguely, just the very slightest, because see, back in when we were young, there was really only so many stations, and we were all going to be watching pretty much the same footage of whatever, because that would have been the only time that footage was played, and maybe until another occasion or something, but I wouldn't have known at my age. If I thought he was doing a nice thing for the brown people down there, I wouldn't have known. I just know I was worried, and I figured he wasn't really... Okay, let's not be mean about Carter. He's dead now and whatnot, and the Messiah teaches. So, and Jesus answered them saying... Okay, so this is before the football. Where Matt Walsh, Carter, Panama, John loved the one. He did like the one about... This is the one that Matt Walsh is discussing the Super Bowl and these commercials. And I don't know if these commercials were from last year or if this is like pre-commercials. And I'm just not understanding this because we were all just supposed to love one another. It sounds so ridiculous. It wasn't supposed to be based on anything about us. And certainly not our sexual orientation. And he discusses the commercials. It's as if they want us racist. It's just so bizarro to me. I was trained around a couple people as a child to be to make me be like closet racist, but I refused it. But you can't be the last born in a situation like that and then have the two main guys in the family, and I'm much younger, And so I don't believe that I really wanted to just see people for people, and I think I was pretty good at that just as a child, even. Like, I just knew that our family had already gone through a lot, and you can spiff it up and spice it up and cover it up all you want, but I just already had learned so young people have such severe situations, and we just simply can't judge by the cover of what's going on, or what we perceive as what that person, unless that person sits down and has a heart to us and discusses what is going on. We need to always be careful. And it doesn't mean we're born with this ability to survive and navigate social interactions and safety of living in this world, but most of the time it's best, unless the person is a limelight hoarder, where they're really wanting the attention, it's a little more easier to be a cynic with that. Talking about day-to-day people, but the Messiah teaches, and this is before Christ washes the disciples' feet, and Matt Walsh was discussing that he was washing the disciples' feet. He wasn't washing just everyone's feet randomly. And I'm going to admit too, because honestly, if it wasn't for some of the verses in the Bible for me to know that Jesus was a renegade, a good renegade, a renegade rebel for the right cause, a rebel with a cause, and he's our savior, and he was trying to save mankind from, well, for like example, what we see going on worldwide now. But money's money, right? I mean, how many churches, ministers do you watch that at some point you just find you're like, do you need to ask for any more money? I mean, people are like having to move into their cars and lose everything. Currently, some people are still in tents if they hadn't already froze to death, which was occurring in North Carolina, and babies, and how many I don't know, but one baby is still too many babies, and we're in America, and this is disgusting. And what I thought we were reading this, and what about Matt Walsh? Jesus didn't go around washing everyone's feet. That's ridiculous. Like, it was a loving gesture to those that had sacrificed their lives for God while he was human on earth. And he washed their feet, and from what I heard, what Matt said, or I will even research it, some were uncomfortable, they did not want it. They knew that he was our Lord, and he was the Messiah. And the Messiah teaches prior to washing his disciples' feet. It didn't mean that Jesus didn't hang out with all types of people, we know this. However, he did have a fervor, and his fervor was for justice and truth, and governments and churches being run properly and not being used for money and trafficking, and using God as a cover to still continue heinous crimes against children and vulnerable populations even back then. And now I have this whistle thing. It's ridiculous. So when I talk sometimes, the Messiah teaches, and Jesus answered them, saying, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be glorified. This is verse 23 of chapter 12 of John. So this is the end of the chapter, midway, and there's a lot of red lettering, meaning it's supposed to be what Jesus was speaking. And Christ washes the disciples' feet is chapter 13. The Messiah teaches, and Jesus answered them, saying, the hour is come that the Son of Man should be glorified. This is after, the Pharisees planned to kill Christ in 11, going into 12. Mary anoints Christ in chapter 12. The triumphal entry. The ones that loved him, it's they see him. They're doing the Hosanna, blessed is the King of Israel that comes in the name of the Lord. And I will ask the Lord that I hope I don't cry. Sometimes I do cry when, even still, when I read about them hauling him up. If I'm reading it, like if I open up into the book and I get it, and I get it so deeply and richly that through the years, albeit it's a blessing, maybe a curse at times, if I don't navigate it as my imagination is, I can almost sense myself there, pretending. Like, what would it be like? Would I have been the one to follow? Because back then it could have been instant death. Would I have still fought through? Would I have believed? Would I have believed? Or would I have been with the Pharisees? That's just silly. Come on. It's just silly. No, it isn't silly. No, it is not silly, but it is Chapter 2. Woo, we're not going to get through it. So verse 24. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone, but if it die, it brings forth much fruit. That was verse 24. That is red lettering. All the way to 27 is red lettering, okay? I'll try to remember to tell you, or I'll try to inflict my voice differently so you catch what's going on. He that loves his life shall lose it, and he that hates his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father says, from this hour, but for this cause came I unto this hour. Sorry, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto the hour. Father, glorify thy name. Then came from there a voice from heaven, saying, I have both glorified it and will glorify it again. The people therefore that stood by and heard it said that it thundered. Others said, and an angel spake to him. Jesus answered and said, this voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. This is said, signifying what death he should die. The people answered him, we have heard out of the law the Christ abideth forever. And how sayest thou, the Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is the Son of Man? Then Jesus said unto them, yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walks in darkness knows not whither he goes. While you have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. These things spake Jesus, and departed, and did hide himself from them. But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. That the saying of Esaias the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who hast believed our report, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? ? Therefore they could not believe, because that Esaias said again. I got way off. So the judge, I only met him while I was in the hospital online with the lawyer on the video court, and he has canceled 2 courts. The assault happened on November 9th. And we've been having to, like, I guess we're going to have to stalk the lawyer to get the USB disc And it's not going to be the full police brutality on me, because they set it up to come through the fence. They left one of the panels, and they beat me up and did all that there with the one kid. And then he tased me nearly to death. I pissed myself. Went unconscious momentarily, and I had a seizure. I started having seizures at... They were supposed to take me to the hospital. Then they were trying to like move me a bit down in the corridors at the jail. They did a bunch of shit that was sick as fuck. And I know they're doing prostitution, and there's a big mess at the jail, and it's disgusting. And I'm just so disgusted with this county, even more so than before, even in my younger years. So no, I've been disgusted the whole time. My only witness from 2002 police brutality in front of my apartment was my neighbor, who was a Vietnam vet, but he was at the end of the trail, so in the sense of, he didn't really probably serve very much. He was the youngest. He was like the kid on the block with the older. He was with me, and he was my only witness, and he kept going down to the jail to talk to the police and stuff, even at the police station, saying that they used too much force on me. He was the only one. No one in my family, no one. They were just like, screw her. They left me in there. Nobody got a lawyer to fight it. It was all an inside job, by the way. And through the man that raised me, the pedophiles too. They had to cover a bunch of stuff. So it's a big mess, and it all is tied in. And like I said, you can go ahead, whatever you need to do with yourself. I know the story with my Lord, and one day he will reveal it, be it I'm alive or dead. And the goal is, I hope many children are saved. That's, I don't know what else to say. Many women and children trapped in trafficking here in Monroe County, Michigan. So, and there's a lot of other but it doesn't really matter what I want. It matters what Jesus wants. And I've been, obviously, whoa, what? And so at times, and so anyways, we had left the PPO. I didn't go to court on the summer because I said, if we leave the PPO, maybe they can behave. Because that's what we did with the last location. So I could get some repairs done on the house before we left. Because we were still determined with Jesus to leave. So then we let ourselves get dumped here, more or less. No. I think that this is going to wrap it up, or I'm wrapped up. Either way, but like I said yesterday, you're going to have to fully decapitate me, or you're going to have to make sure you guys get the gunshots to my head and heart enough times. And then you're going to have to let me, because my blood does a weird, I coagulate a little more quickly. My body heals very quickly. Still a little slower than back in the day, but it really is miracle based. Or like I said, there's something even more bizarro with what they were doing to me as a child at the clinics and the doctors. I just need to give credit where credit is due, which is Jesus. Yeah, but like, I'm scarring from the taser, but it's just like, but from what it was, the odd colors and the blues and the reds and the one end that was very large and round, and it spread. And then I had a bunch of chemical like responses, but they had put me in a room, then also given me something to poison me, drug me, to get me to act crazy so they could have that on the video footage. It's all to cover a bunch of scary and prostitution, more or less. So I know I was at the block letters. We're going to read 36 because this is super important. Meaning, he's like, so you have the light, like you're sitting with the light. You would have been sitting with God. Now, until he was fully maybe in his resurrected body, and if there was the appearance of him appearing, you know, as we're told, it's part of our faith, is you would have been with Jesus, who is God, the Messiah. The Messiah. You would have been hanging out with him, like arm to arm, hug to hug. Just little hip here. It's yeah, it's gonna rain or snow, poor thing. So I'm back and forth on what to do. I'm not gonna put him on pharmaceuticals, but, and I don't think neutering him is gonna, it might take away his energy a little more, but because of his brother, I think he's just one of those pups. I don't think he was like that when we got him. He doesn't like to stop, and he used to like to have to be put for a nap. You have to put him into a nap like a child, a baby, when he was small. It ain't much different now, but I can go lay down, and he's like, well, you're sitting up. So, okay. 36. While ye have light, believe in the light, and ye may be the children of light. These things spake Jesus, and departed, and did hide himself from them. But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him. That the saying of Esaias the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who has believed our report, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? Therefore they could not believe, because that Esaias said again, we're going to have to look up that. But, however, we're going to go here. Did hide himself from them. That the saying of Isaiah, the prophet, might be fulfilled, which he spake. Lord, who hast believed our report, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? Those are both question marks. Therefore they could not believe, because that Isaiah said again, he has blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things said Isaiah when he saw his glory, and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue. For they love the praise of men more than the praise of God. Because they love the praise of men more than God. Our entire world has been, one of the biggest promoters of this mentality was Ebbs Olstein. And he helped destroy the church. Olstein did. I do these pauses. Oh, maybe you'd like to get your glasses redone. Oh gosh, for they love the praise of men more than the praise of God. Jesus cried and said, He that believes on me believes not on me, but on him that sent me. Jesus cried and said, He that believes on me believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that sees me sees him that sent me. Do you get it? It's not. I mean, I don't want to go off railing about the Bible being tampered to death with. Talk about what was fondled with the most. This. You're not going to prove it any different to me. And smarty pants people, oh, we can't have our intellect interrupting our faith. Well, no, but when you know, and there's proof of tampering and messing with this, and it is from the Catholic Church, I'm sorry, I don't want to, I feel like I feel like I've made amends with all of that, and I actually watch a good share of Catholics, at time to time, and I think a lot of them have shifted. I think some have woken up, and I don't want to always seem as if I'm doing that, but unfortunately, they're one of the most powerful entities of our planet, and they have done more destructive, And he that sees me, okay, we're going to start over. Jesus cried and said, He that believes on me believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that sees me sees him that sent me. So the Pharisees are still like, yeah, we still are believing in our Creator God. You say you are, but give me a break. You're definitely not what we were looking for, and it's definitely not how we want this to go down. We love our money. We like how we are doing a business down here, and we don't really appreciate you thinking that you're God in the flesh, because we've got our money rolling in, and we got our gold, and we got our silver, and we got our gems, and we don't need to hear from someone like you. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what he looks like, because that, you can really go wacky on that one, trying to locate if there was any proof of what Jesus looked like. I mean, they couldn't wait even 30 seconds to probably erase every bit of whatever they could find about God coming to earth. So the devil and his children back then. So I have peace with the Lord about me knowing that a lot of this has been tampered with. It doesn't mean that we don't go to it, but I believe in some instances words and stuff were purposely tripped up, and you can tell me it's the old language and it was translated and you can't fully translate it. Okay, whatever. But if you take an average Jane or Joe and you say, try to stick with King James Version, they are going to think that at moments they're speaking Pig Latin. The only thing that helped me, and it did actually work back in the day, is the family I hung out with briefly. They said, pray. Pray to Jesus. Ask him to help you understand the wording. And every time I went into my word, I prayed with Jesus and I said, help me understand through you what I'm reading so that I can fully grasp the concept as best as possible, or find the resources to do so. But at the end of the day, if we're on a deserted island and we're all alone and we never read the Bible, but we're in a serious situation and we need to find God, and we ask Jesus to come into our lives, we're stranded all alone, we may never get rescued, and you find Jesus on that island, that's all you need. Okay, so outside of all the scholars and everyone that has the right translation, I can't wait till Jesus does a whack a rat on that one. Good Lord, does a smackdown on that. Goodness. And he that sees me sees him that sent me. Verse 46. We're going to start over. 44. Jesus cried and said, He that believes on me believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that sees me seeth him that sent me. And I come a light into the world, that whosoever believes on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words, any woman hears my words, and believe not, I judge him not, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that rejects me and receives not my words has one that judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last days. So, and it's pretty gently said. Was it that gently said? But we can't do that. I used to do that a lot more. My poor... Anyhow, I don't... Okay, so we're going to go it again so that we can really understand. He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words has one that judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. In the last day. In the last day. Now, it might just mean this is Jesus' last day. What kind of study do I do? Well, it's a little bit more explorative. Sometimes I'll say what I am getting, but I always tell you to check it with your spirit, with Jesus. I could be wrong. So, I don't know. I like to go into the word blindly, read it, and try to get inspiration with Jesus. And if I keep coming to a roadblock on a certain area, I will look for outside resources. That was something else I learned, was when you get into a lot of commentaries and stuff, it's going to cause more confusion. So, Pastor Baldwin discusses the Matthew Henry commentary Bible, and it is really important. And if you don't have one, I really advise saving some money and trying to get one, because apparently it's getting too expensive for them to print it, and there's just not enough purchases, because it's a hefty one. It's hefty and it's fancy. So if they're going to keep it in print, affordability, and maybe they can go back to something like this later, it's nice, and it's bound, and it's like this, and I think it was like 70 or 80 bucks. That's a lot of money. If I'm wrong, I could be wrong. It was a little hefty, but that is technically still a really good price, that it's not in the 100 or more. So it would be unfortunate to see it not be so beautiful. Well, let's see, where would we be in this right now? So you'd go to Liberty Fellowship, Pastor Baldwin. They're not sure who else carries the Bible. There's been a fear, it is a fear technically, that it will not be printed anymore. And what I'm saying is maybe someone could just pick it up, not as nice, but keep the print going, and then maybe when the right company comes, or someone is capable of making something this gorgeous, because it is really beautiful. It's got the maps. Who you can present it to as a gift. It's got really pretty stuff. So like 31, we're going to go back to 31. 12:31, now is the judgment. I'm still learning this format. For your sakes. This is going to get too long. goodness gracious. I've been doing longer videos lately because of the court thing, and I know they're scrambling to do their bullshit like they always do. So, cover, scramble, scramble, ramble. That's a good... Alright. That did stick out to me. So verse 31, and we're not gonna have time, because we could literally take like 2 or 3 verses and just spend time in there for a long time, and we're not gonna do that. 40 minutes? Oh my goodness. So 47, and if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him and not, for I came in to judge the world, but to save the world. Okay, now we're going to jump down. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment which I could say and what I should speak. And I know that this commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. And then Christ washes the disciples' feet. 31 is still sticking out at me, so it's 12:31, and maybe I think it will shut down. I'm surprised it went 40. It's when I don't clean out the trash in there and stuff. And I never took it to the store. It's kind of long. We'll see if it records. Now is the judgment, 12:31. And what was 12:31? I don't know, Heather. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. Like take over, I believe. I could be wrong. I really could. So now 12:31, now is the judgment. Take it as a medical term. Now is the crisis of this world. The sick and diseased world is now upon the turning point. This is the critical day upon which the trembling scale will turn for life or death to all mankind. All that are not recovered by this will be left helpless and hopeless. Or rather, it is a law term. Now judgment is entered in order to the taking out of the execution against the prince of this world. It is a judgment of favor, an absolution. Christ upon the cross interposed between a righteous God and a guilty world. It was as it were the judgment of this world, for an everlasting righteousness was thereby brought in, not for Jews only, but the whole world. Prince of the world be cast out. The devil is here called the prince of the world because he rules over the men of the world by the things of the world. He is the ruler of the darkness of this world, that is, of this dark world, of those is in the walk in darkness. 2 Corinthians 4:6, Ephesians 6:12. He who is said to be cast out is now cast out. Christ, reconciling the world to God by the merit of his death, broke the power of death and cast out Satan as a destroyer. Christ, by the doctrine of his cross, broke the power of sin and cast out Satan as a deceiver. Observe with what assurance Christ speaks of the victory over Satan. It is as God has done, and even when he yields to death, he triumphs over it. Will draw men unto me. It is Christ that draws. It is sometimes ascribed to the Father, but here is ascribed to the Son. He does not draw by force, but draws the soul, is made willing. It is Christ that we are drawn. He that was shy and distrustful of him is brought to love him and trust in him, drawn up to his terms into his arms. So this is the thing, is it's a done deal. And Mari Emmanuel, and it was maybe just Sunday or this past weekend, said, I believe he is Serbian Orthodox, don't quote me on it. I think maybe we had been out a few times already, but someone's ripping it. We got to go out. That's nice, Heather. Add that in. So he was saying, and we had never heard this before. Me and John watched this last night. The argument over Sabbath. And I'm going to try to keep this brief if I can. Please, Lord. I had never heard this in my whole life. And oh gosh, I hope I don't say it wrong. Jesus is the Sabbath. Okay. Night and day, night and day. He went into the parts about where people take literally the 7 days of creation. It is not. And I'm thinking, well, why would they say days then? But that's just not for us to. I want to believe it's part of the tampering to confuse things more. Do we not believe that Satan would be messing the word of God up immediately? And to me, it's pretty clearly stated in the very last words of Revelation, where it says, anyone to move, translate, disrupt the Bible is in serious crap. And they are. So there, right there, to me, that was a word of warning. Jesus already knew that they were going to mess up the wording, and he was just letting them know, you know what, you're going to mess with my words too. Well, you're in a bunch of trouble for that too. Because it's serious. It's serious. It's caused so much division way back. Numerous denominations branching off of denominations, men wanting their money. I mean, the problem never stopped. And I can actually get furious about that a little bit. Furious in the sense of just round and round and round we go. And mankind just simply can't even just do stuff enough to suppress the dark forces enough to get some good going and get some major healing going on the planet. But whatever, I guess someone will say, well, it's the last days. Is it? Because I think it's been the last days since the beginning of time, because people can't seem to just simply be keeping stuff in order at all. And we're going to have to get the little guys out here, and I'll try to finish this up. Is Marmari said, we're born into darkness. Like, I don't know, I just saw it so different. It was like, when we say, why is this got to be so painful? I mean, I'd probably even be more useful if all of this stuff hadn't went down like this. I could have done things a little more spiffed up or whatever. And that we live in darkness, and then because we follow Jesus, you guys are going out. Someone was we go to the light. But we carry the light because our Father came to earth. He is the light. So we must gravitate towards light. We keep embracing the light. We have the light in us, regardless of what we're going through, and depending on how off course we are. If we get too far off course, and we do what a bunch of these people are doing, because the thing is that, you know, maybe you guys just think, oh, she's just targeting the perverts. No. I also came on very, very urgently about the church. What a destructively disastrous mess. And it's just sad. So, and it is. So, I need you guys to focus on the bathroom, and I'm not really feeling like, you know what I'm saying, yet all the way. It would be nice because it's affecting my health, but we're going to go in here, but someone needs to, we're going to shut the back door, but please go to Murray. I'm just not explaining it well, and he goes out of the Bible to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. And that's where we're going to end today, so I don't know.